Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Drive Time, Graybeard's family. I hope everyone's doing well. Just doing a test here to see how the mic is, if I need to adjust my air conditioning, because it's a hot one. Yes, it's a hot one today. Yep, hate to report the Chevy Cruze was down. It finally had something go wrong with it. 83,000 miles, something went wrong. The issue, my wife was driving it, and she started to smell. She was like, I don't know what it smells, electrical, I don't know, it's whatever, I don't know what it is. And after I called her, talked her off the ledge, if you will, I said, well, what's it doing? Is it driving funny? Is it, what's going on? No lights on the dash, temperature, the whole gamut of things. And she knows certain things, but she's not, oblivious to what's going on with the car. She could smell that it was emitting this odor. It smelled. She wasn't sure. It smelled it. I said, what does it smell like? Is it any smoke or any steam? Or she said, no, it just smells like it's something burning electrical. So I'm kind of panicked, I was like, okay, we'll pull over, and it's not driving funny or anything, She said it smelled, she figured out that once she got stopped, I said, does it smell like brakes, or does it, long story short, we figured it out that it was the left front brake that hung up. It was not releasing. It was more of a drag than a lockup. So she was probably, by the time she called me, she was probably 12 miles from the house. And I don't know how long it had been hung up. So I said, well, just, if it still moves, limp it home and try not to use the brakes. It's pretty much a straight shot all the way. I said, slow down before you have to apply the brakes. The best before you have to make your turn. She had to make a couple turns to get into where we live. So she did that. She got home, no problem. When I got home, I looked at it. You could clearly tell that the left front brake was hung up. There was evidence, the rotor, it kind of looks like a rust from the heat. Everything, it just superheated everything. It was still hot by the time I got home from work. So I was like, I don't know. The only thing it could have, initially I'm thinking a brake hose or the caliper is hung up. So of course, if you don't know me, I don't skimp on tires typically, and I don't skimp on brakes. Especially if it's something that she's driving or the family is driving. I don't skimp on those. They're a must. So I went all out. Let me know what you think. Would you have done the same thing? Even though I suspected that a brake hose collapsed, causing it not to release like it's supposed to, I bought 2 new brake hoses for the driver's side and the passenger side, i.e. left and right. New pads and rotors for both sides, but on the driver's side I bought a new hub, just because of the heat. It probably would have been okay, but it would have failed eventually. When I took it off, you could feel it was rougher than it should be. You can manipulate the bearing, and it just didn't feel smooth like it should. And I think the cost for the hub was like less than $50 for the hub. The big expense was the caliper. I think the brake hoses were like $9 a piece. And the rotors were kind of expensive. That was spending. There was nothing really wrong with the old rotors. They probably would have, the passenger side would have cleaned up. It would have cost me probably close in time and finding someone that would do it and do it correctly. Because most times you take a rotor in, they run it right down to the minimum, and then there you are. It's just better off. So I bought 2 new rotors, and I bought all GM parts. And I think the total bill just in parts was close to $700 with shipping and everything. I go to a site called gmpartsdirect.com. I've dealt with them before. They're pretty reasonable for GM parts. Sure, I could have went to O'Reilly's or you pick a parts store, Vance, AutoZone, Napa, what have you. But I went with AC Delco, GM parts, straight from GM. And I noticed the parts, some of them made in Mexico, made in Vietnam, something like that. But, and then of course I had to flush all the brake fluid out. That it replaced. It went from .3 to .4. They're both compatible with each other, but .4 has a higher flash point, I believe. In other words, they can take higher temperatures. Not that I've really needed it, but it's just a good idea in my opinion. Other than that, I was going to film doing it, but it was so much stuff going on. It's just me doing it. That it was just, I'm not that good at the videoing, as you've noticed. I'm trying to get better at it, learning as we go, the editing, and I'm more of kind of like one time, good deal, boom, and post it. You're getting it real as I'm doing it. I'm not putting in any flowery gotchas or anything like that. Maybe later when I get better at it and I have more time to commit to doing that. But it's just an informative. Just to let you know, the Cruze has had a failure. Kind of a serious one to me. Brakes are very, pretty important aspect of the vehicle. So I don't want it. If you can hear the fan noise in the background, I apologize. I was going to test this out. I'm going to still go back and review it before I post it. But other than that, things are good. It's a real scorcher down here in South Carolina. It's in the mid to upper 90s most days. And still rocking the old Caliber. She's doing well. It takes a little while for the air to come around, about a mile before it really starts getting cool. But other than that, about 8 minutes here. I won't bore you too much. I hope you guys had a great, I know it's been a little while since I posted a drive time. I've just been not doing it. Oh, and before I forget, I seen my first video. One guy I follow, it was a short on YouTube where he had one of the new 4-cylinder engines these auto manufacturers are pushing in their full-size truck lineup. Had a pretty serious issue, failure. I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not all bought in with 4-cylinder engines in full-size trucks. I mean, we're talking 5,000 to 6,000 pound vehicles with a little four-cylinder engines in them, which do great in this little car. It's 3,000 some odd pounds that it's moving. It does very well for what it is. It is just that. This is a commuter, round town, go back and forth to work kind of vehicle. And some people use their pickup trucks that way. I know I have in the past, but I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about these full-size trucks with 4-cylinder turbo engines. I'm just not, and the transmissions that are failing left and right. But let me know what you think. Hope everybody has a great week. We'll try this a second time here, and we'll catch you on the flip side, and God bless.